So I wanted to do this quick demonstration on how I reinstalled the supercharger gears. As you know, I'm running a stage 2 gear setup, and a lot of people are on the fence about running it because they're concerned about the reliability of the engine for starters, and also the word is out that because of fitment issues, they have been known to back out, or at least the lower supercharger gear has been known to back out. It happened to me twice. The first time, I think I forgot to Loctite it. The second time, I used blue Loctite, and I think, and actually after my dyno runs, it came loose. Now, just so you guys know, when it backed out on me, it wasn't catastrophic. It's simply, if you look here, it backs out into the back of the clutch, and the clutch grinds it down. Now, you'll know that you have a problem because you may hear the screeching metal. It sounds just like a high-pitched chirp like the supercharger, but it's actually the screeching metal of the clutch rubbing on the nut. The bolt here. And you may not be able to downshift or put it back into first gear. That'll be your first indication you have a problem. Also, if you do manage to get it stopped, the bike will be hesitant to start up again. It may make a little screeching noise and it just won't spin the motor. Those were my symptoms when it backed out. So as you can see, this is the original bolt. It's got the hole in there for the oil passage, and this was the original washer. So the first thing, I decided I wasn't going to use the blue Loctite again. And I'll try to zoom in on here. The blue is the medium strength, and it has a brake rating of 115 and a prevail rating of 50. And basically what that means is it will take 115 inch-pounds of pressure to get it to break the seal and get it to turn initially, and 50 inch-pounds to spin it down a thread. Now, as you can see, there are different ratings, and this is the package I have for the high temperature, which is what I bought. It has a brake rating of 200 and a prevail rating of 225 inch-pounds, which is much stronger than the medium strength. It also has a 3000 psi shear strength, which means it's more resistant to just tearing. And where this excels, obviously, is its temperature rating, 450 degrees Fahrenheit versus 300 for the others. Now, if you notice, high strength has both a higher brake and prevail than the high temperature, and the permanent strength is just a little bit weaker brake, and it has a stronger prevail than the high temperature. But what they don't have is the shear strength and the high temperature. I suspect that the blue Loctite melted, and that's why it came loose during my last run, because when I pulled it out, there were no traces of the Loctite. It was just wet. It looked like oil and maybe a slight bluish hue to the fluid was on the bolt, but there didn't really seem to be any traces of the Loctite. So I decided to go with the high temperature, and with that said, we'll see how it holds up over time. That's the part number right there, and I'll explain to you the process I used. So I'm going to zoom out here. This was the bolt that I used just to make sure that I torqued everything down onto the spline properly, and it's a M8 1.25 pitch thread, and I would say, I forget the length, I want to say it's about maybe 50 millimeters or so. I could be probably a little bit off, but you get the idea. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did. I'm going to sit the camera down, and so let's say This is inside the clutch, right? This is the upper, this is the lower, the one that's notorious for coming loose. All right, and what I did was basically I put the nut about here, and then I put the washer, and this washer is about the circumference of the actual sprocket. And then I tightened the nut so it would gradually thread the sprocket all the way as far back as it will go on the spline. Okay, so what I did was I threaded just like this. I threaded it into the shaft until that made contact. Let's get that on there some more. Just like that. And then, once that was in there good, just like that, until it pressed and I torqued it down that way with the wrench like I was just showing you, and then you can see it's pushing the sprocket onto that shaft, right? So in the bike it looks like that. And obviously, all right, once it couldn't go anymore, it was tight, and then the whole assembly would start to spin, would start to turn when I would torque it. Once that happened, then I just unscrewed this from the shaft, and eventually when it came out, it was like that, and it was all the way on the shaft. It was all the way on there, really good. All right, so once I felt confident that the lower sprocket was on the shaft good, I took a brand new bolt and washer, and I used the red high temp thread locker, and then I screwed it in there pretty good, just like that. Okay, and instead of 15 foot-pounds, I actually went to 19 foot-pounds, and I waited about a day and a half before starting it, and then a week later I went for my first ride, and it's been fine ever since. So that's the update for now. I'll keep you posted on the progress, and hopefully it won't back out anymore. But you know, with winter rolling around, not sure how much more riding I'll get in, but I will keep you posted. I feel pretty good about it, but only time will tell. We got a lot of guys out there that got discouraged. Sorry about that, my battery died. I was saying that you know, a lot of guys got discouraged when the lower sprocket backed out, and now they just run the upper, the stage 1. But you know, not everybody is having the issue. You know, seems to be working fine for some people. On the other hand, you know, that set of dyno runs I did was pretty rigorous, so maybe that played a part too, versus just regular street riding. I don't know, but you know, once the season rolls around again, I'm gonna be pulling that oil cover cap and just go in there with a flashlight and just do like an inspection. But outside of that, like I said, it was torqued on there pretty good, and this was the method I used. So this was a M8, I guess by 50, 1.25 pitch with the matching nut, and I got a washer which basically was about the circumference of that lower sprocket, and you know, I was able to push it on the shaft pretty good just using this method, and it got it from a suggestion from somebody on .org. So we'll see how it works out. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions about this, you know, feel free to post in the comment section. I'll try to get back to everyone within a day or two. Thanks again, guys. Take care.